Concerto number 7, Condoleezza working out at the Watergate. Condoleezza rises at 4, stepping on the treadmill. Her long fingers brace the too slim handles of accommodating steel. She steadies her sleepy legs for the long day ahead. She doesn't get very far. Her knees buckle, wanting back last night's dream. Dream number 9, where she is 15 and leaning forward from the bench, playing Mozart's piano concerto in D minor alone, before the gawking, disbelieving, applauding crowd. Not dream number 2, where she is 9 and not in the church that explodes into dust, the heart pine floor giving way beneath her friend Denise, rocketing her up into the air like a jack in the box of a Black girl wrapped in a Dixie cross. She ups the speed on the treadmill, remembering she has to be 3 times as good. Don't mix up your dreams, Condi. She runs faster, back to the right, hitting her stride. Mozart returns to her side. She is 15 again, all smiles and relocated to the peaks of the Rocky Mountains, where she and the Steinway are the only Black people in the room.
Hi, welcome to Brown Girl Book Lover. I'm Leslie Ann Murray. Today we have Nikky Finney. A little bio. Nikky Finney was born by the sea in South Carolina and raised during the civil rights, Black Power, and Black arts movement. She's the author of On Wings Made of Gauze, Rice, The World is Round, and Head Often Split, which won the National Book Award for Poetry in 2011. Her new collection of poems, Love Child's Hotbed of Occasional Poetry, was released from Tri-Quarterly Books, Northwestern University Press in 2020. Nikky, welcome to Brown Girl Book Lover.
Leslie Ann, thank you for inviting me. I have been excited all morning. I won't say I, curled my hair and put on makeup, but I was very excited to be here. You've been doing such a great job out in the world as a book lover. When, any Black or brown girl who puts book lover after their name, sign me up. I'm there. So
I'm in love with your writing, your magic, your imagery, and I'm in love with the fact that within one poem, you can pull 12 worlds together. And I love that you constantly reference the sea in your bio and in your work. Why does the sea hold so much emotion for you?
I was born 500 yards from the ocean, and I'm aware of that, literally. I've always been aware of it. When I was a girl, we didn't go to the park to play. When my mom, after church or after school, the first several years of my life, we went to the ocean. And so my brothers have no memory of this because, different children remember different things.
Yeah.
It was always my pull. It was always the thing that quieted me, that made me see. I always wondered what was over there across the way, the presence of enslaved Africans, that this was one of the ports that Africans came through. But my family taught me. And then as I got in college, I learned literally about that. I thought, this is the other thing I didn't know, that this place that is the ocean that probably holds 4 million to 10 million African bodies was also pulling me in a non-intellectual way, but in a spiritual way. And I didn't know that yet. I would become increasingly aware of my African history as a result of my desire to write poetry. And so those things naturally came into being side by side of each other. So I try to go to the ocean as often as I can, especially now being just 2 hours away. I try to take flowers at the beginning of the year and just lay them in the water, because I believe, and I know people are looking at me when I do that, and I don't care. I really don't. Because I know, back to being love child, right? I know what I come from. I know who I'm honoring. And that is what matters to me. It's like all those people, all that family, that this country still, I mean, I think this whole entire nation should take flowers to the shore of the Atlantic and lay them down.
You know, when reading this collection, the words breath, breathing keeps appearing throughout the essays and poem. And it reminds me of the miracle of poetry, that even when you close the book, it's still breathing, right? And living inside of you. And one of your poems that have been living inside of me ever since I've heard it is Brown Country. And and oh my God. Like, when I heard that, I was just like, this woman is a genius.
You know, I tell you what, when I used to, when Rice came out and I started reading Brown Country, the audience had reactions to that poem like no other poem in that book. And I never quite understand it. I mean, I love that poem. I love that poem. And I love the music in it. I love the sort of fierceness in it. I love how much it jumps around. And it, yeah. So I appreciate you saying that. Even, you know, 2 books away from that, I am often people who write me and say, I don't want anything. I just want to say something about Brown Country. And I'm like, okay, I know who you are if you talk about that poem. So you've entered that territory by saying that poem means a lot to you.
It was so spectacular. I even listened to it last night, like just the imagery of, and the last thing is the woods and the grandfather, and just everything was beating and breathing, and it was nonstop, and there was something sinister happening,
Mm, mm, mm.
you know. And you know, I like when you're watching a movie and you see something, you're like, ah, don't go there. But in a poem, you can't tell the poem, don't go there, jump in your car and run away. And it was that reaction that I was,
you know, at the end, which is people often talk about the end of that poem, and one of the things that they often say to me in different kinds of ways is, I felt like you brought me, and you're kind of saying it here, you brought me into this moment, and I felt like someone had kicked me in my belly, you know, kicked me really hard, but I couldn't leave. I had to stay there. But you took a good punch. And before that, it was, if you let the reader or let a listener know that they're about to be kicked, and this is where writing is so important, they're not gonna stay. They're gonna say, okay, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna keep going. I don't wanna, you know, it's kind of like that horror movie where I can't watch horror. I'm like, ugh, right? But you understand, if you lead them with other things, and you understand why you must be here, you can't be anyplace else, then it's not that I want to hurt you, but I also don't want to turn away from the hurt that is there. Mm-hmm. And my job as a writer is to bring you into that so that you feel that with me. Mm-hmm. Because that's why we do what we do.
And I'm always like, how is she doing this? Are you like taking all the imagery and shaking it up and then throwing it out and looking at it? Like, because some of it is just like, this is out of the world, right? How are you working with imagery?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I need you to know that I don't know intellectually how to answer your question. I know what you are asking me. I know when I go there and when I am there. Mm-hmm. And my body, I feel like, don't move, keep writing. I often say that I write in many languages because there was a language I could speak in my mother's house where she was always correcting me. There was the language when I went to get my hair straightened at the Clyburn's beauty shop, where these Black women were like throwing images and talking about food and talking about people. And I was like, oh, how do I mix this unsafe adult Black Southern woman understanding with the sort of propriety and properness that my mother was giving me at home. I feel like I have done that my entire life. It's like my English teachers who taught me where to put a comma, all those kinds of things. And then where is the music in the language? And so because I am 150% visual, figurative, metaphor, I want that. That's why I'm a poet. I'm drawn to the visual. I'm drawn to the ocean. I'm drawn to what I can't see underneath the ocean. So you ask me, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how I do it. I do know that at this point in my life, in terms of process, I know that that is when I am speaking my language most clearly. And I know that that is when I am at the door entering the poem that I want to write. That is my voice that I treasure. I'm so glad you called me today. It's made my day. It's gray and dreary. We don't have snow. You probably have bad weather or worse than mine. But I just needed this sunshine. You're gonna make me also go to the ocean very soon because I'm missing it deeply, and I need to be there and smell the salt and go there. So thank you for that,
Nikky. I want to thank you for blessing me. Honestly, I usually have something really smart and slick to say.
That's that next conversation. You'll do that next time, okay?
I like my words are not together. I think after this, I need to sit quietly and just think about all these beautiful things you have said. I just want to thank you so much for blessing this nerdy girl with such beauty.
It has been
I'm beyond appreciative, and I thank you.